Kitco Mining's special coverage of the Precious Metals Summit is brought to you by Inventa Capital.
If developed, NOVAGOLD says its Donlin projects will be one of the largest mines in the world. I'm with Greg Lang, CEO. Greg, welcome to Kitco.
Good morning, welcome, thank you.
Describe the Donlin project.
Well, the Donlin project is, it's one of the largest undeveloped gold deposits in the industry. It's got about 40 million ounces measured and indicated, and with plenty of exploration room to grow that. It's also a good grade deposit, 2.25 grams, makes it one of the largest, highest grade deposits in the industry. We're also fortunate we're not in this alone. Barrick Gold is our partner. We each own 50%, and we've been steadily advancing the project through permitting and up the value chain.
How long has the company had the arrangement with Barrick, and how is that working?
Well, we have been partners with Barrick since they acquired their interest when they bought Placer Dome. So that's been over 15 years ago. And we each own 50%. It's a true 50-50 relationship. Neither party has rights that the other does not have. Donlin Gold is governed by a board of directors with 2 members from each company. Currently, Christine Keener, Barrick's senior executive in the North American region, is the chairman. I will become chairman next year. So true 50-50 in every sense of the word.
Talk about the drill program that you have.
Yeah, we've just finished up a big drill program at Donlin. It was the largest drill program in over 15 years. We've had 2 press releases on the results that we've issued jointly with Barrick. The first one was in the summertime. We just put a second one out a couple weeks ago, and tremendous intercepts, some of the best anybody's drilled throughout the industry. And some of the intercepts are on our website, but we've had long, thick sequences of over 30 grams. So really gratifying to see the high grade inside of a 2.5 gram ore body.
Talk about the location. So you're in Western Alaska right now. What's around you? How do you get a mine into there?
Mm-hmm. Well, we're located in Western Alaska, about 300 kilometers more or less west of Anchorage, and it's frankly it's a pretty empty part of Alaska. The nearest community to the mine site is a village of about 100 people called Crooked Creek. So it's a remote site, and that's most of the mining projects in Alaska need infrastructure to get going, and that's a big part of the capital cost will be the infrastructure, because there's no roads in that part of the state. So we will, most of the bulk materials come in on river barges, and we have to build a short road from the river to the mine site. And of course, it'll be a fly-in, fly-out operation, similar to many of the operations up in Alaska.
Now, I think you had a feasibility study a while ago, and I think the cost of the mine was about $7.4 billion, I think, to develop at that time. Is that something right now that you're doing an update on?
In addition to the drilling work that we've been doing at Donlin as part of Barrick's due diligence, we've also been reviewing our approach to the project. And it was a capital-intensive project at $7.5 billion. Our current thinking is to build it in stages, like a half now, half later, lessen the upfront capital intensity. And that's, when we go to update the feasibility study, that's the approach that we've been taking with our partner. Is it makes more sense, given the times we're in, to build it in different stages. And many of the big mines I've been involved with throughout my career were built in stages. And that's the approach that we're taking, and that will be incorporated into the new feasibility study. So it's our approach is different, but also the existing study is getting quite dated. So it's time to, before you go forward and make a decision of investment of that scale, you want to make sure you've got the most accurate data possible.
Does the mineralogy, the way that actually could build a mine, is this something that you're looking at that could actually be built in stages?
Very much so. The original plan was a big operation, 55,000 ton a day through the mill, 200,000 ton a day open pit. And, we're looking at building it in stages. And, the original output of the mine for the first 5 years was 1.5 million ounces. So, it's still, even built in stages, it's going to be a substantial operation. And what you've lost in terms of scale with the smaller operation, you have lower dilution and an opportunity to mine more selectively and increase the grade. So, well, even in stages, it would still be one of the most significant new gold operations in the industry.
How well supported is it from government regulations as well as communities? Because I can think that there's been some mines that people have tried to build in the U.S. and then they've had some challenges. I think Trilogy Metals actually trying to be able to get in its road that's up to the north of you. There's also Twin Metals as well too down in the Midwest.
Yeah, and it's the Donlin project. One of the things that's unique about Donlin is that we're on private land, which is owned by two Alaska Native corporations. Calista owns the mineral estate, and TKC owns the surface rights. And I think having that Native involvement, not just involvement, but ownership, has been very key as we've successfully permitted the project. And I think their involvement going forward has really demonstrated the Native commitment to the project. The elected officials in Alaska support responsible mine development. So we have not been, drawn a lot of the criticisms and protests that other projects have gotten. And I think, we've been involved with the communities for decades, and they're staunch advocates for the Donlin project.
You have the relationship with Barrick. They build mines. You must be looking at some of the mines that are being built right now, whether think of like IAMGOLD's Côté, for instance. What you have seen, you see saying like an escalation in cost, an escalation in terms of what the prices are right now. That looks like that could be coming down right now. There's also what is actually happening around renewables and tech. What are the trends that you're tracking right now in terms of actually building a mine? Do you see that there's something that is actually going to be able to allow you to do it more efficiently? Do you think that there's going to be a window where the prices are actually going to be kind of better to do something like that? Is there tech that's something that actually, is there different approaches that you can take right now to building a mine?
Yeah, I think as we're watching what's happening in the industry and other projects, I think to me, one thing it does is it certainly reinforces the need to, when you make the decision to build, that you have a current, refreshed feasibility study that takes into account all the market forces that have pushed projects, like you mentioned, that have pushed the capital substantially higher. So when we do make the decision to update the feasibility study, it will be based on what is actually happening in real time in the industry. And certainly in the last few months, the inflationary pressures that we saw early in the year are starting to subside. Energy's coming back down, steel and other components. So, the markets are still fluid, but they're at least moving in the right direction.
Greg, lastly, milestones over the next 12 months.
Yeah, the important news flow for us for the next couple months is obviously the last assays from this year's drill program, and I think that'll be occurring jointly with our partner in the new year. And then the other key events will be the updated geologic model and the decision to proceed with the new FS, which we'll make jointly with our partner.
Greg, thanks for speaking with Kitco.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
My name is Michael McRae. You're watching Kitco Mining here at 2022 Precious Metals Summit Zurich, sponsored by Inventa Capital.
Kitco Mining's special coverage of the Precious Metals Summit is brought to you by Inventa Capital.